2024 hopefuls reacting to the news of the third indictment against Donald Trump. Meanwhile, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott writes this: I remain concerned about the weaponization of Biden's DOJ and its immense power used against political opponents. What we see today are two different tracks of justice. However, former Vice President Mike Pence says this: today's indictment serves as an important reminder. Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. Joining me right now is Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez, a member of the House Armed Services, Homeland Security, and Select Committee on Competition with China. Congressman, it's good to see you. How do you see this indictment?
It's pure politics again. Look, Stacey Abrams contested her election in Georgia, and she got to play the president of the world on Star Trek. President Trump does the same thing in his election, then he gets indicted. So there's a double standard here, without a doubt, and it's not coincidental that it's a day after you get this testimony, which is really, pretty damning to the Biden family, and the president gets indicted. It seems to be a pattern.
Yeah, and Jonathan Turley, a Fox News contributor, had a similar comment saying that they're charging Trump with disinformation, charging Trump for free speech. Is that going to fly?
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't fly. Look, at the Supreme Court level, it probably won't fly. At the jury level, because it's going to be tried in D.C. You can't find a person there that voted for Trump. Over 93% of the people there voted for Biden. Yeah. So I would suspect the president is going to have trouble in that venue. But once he gets to the Supreme Court, they're going to see it for what it really is. It's an assault on free speech, and it's an assault on political speech. And it's really a scary day here in the United States of America.
And what are you going to do about it?
Well, look, what we're going to do about it, we're going to continue investigating Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and the Biden family syndicate. More and more evidence is coming every single day. This is not going to deter us from our duty, which is to investigate if the president of the United States is corrupt and if the president of the United States is compromised. Two things which I believe are true with all the evidence that I've seen. But we have to prove it, and we're going to continue to do that. That's what we're going to do. And we're also going to be investigating, the DOJ and the FBI and the weaponization of the DOJ and the FBI. And more and more, if they continue to act in this fashion, it just proves our point that, unfortunately, these two agencies, these two institutions have been weaponized by the Biden administration.
Well, I just want to know how much more evidence you need, because you've got 170 suspicious activity reports. You've got whistleblower testimony saying that they know that Joe Biden and his family have accepted money. You've got James Comer, the chairman of the House committee, the Oversight Committee, saying that he can identify at least $17 million. Nancy Mace, a member of that committee, saying she thinks it's north of $50 million. So how much more evidence do you want to actually endorse impeaching Joe Biden?
Oh, no, I'm there already. I'm just thinking we need more evidence to make sure that also not even the Main Street media can ignore it anymore. They continue to ignore all this stuff. Hey, look, it's just coincidence that out of 8 billion people on the planet, it was Hunter Biden's father who got the Burisma prosecutor fired. That's beyond the pale. But, hey, it's just coincidence. Hey, it's just, that's him doing his job and all that. Look, I knew he was crooked from the get-go. It's not coincidental. His son was making $1 million a year. And what? You didn't know your son was making $1 million a year from a company which you just got the prosecutor who was on them to get fired? Really? Look, nobody believes that. The American people don't believe it. We just continue to pile on the evidence. And we're going to find more and more evidence. And I'm sorry for President Trump, because every time we find more evidence, he gets indicted. And so, I'm going to apologize to him right now. You're probably going to get indicted more because we're going to find more stuff. And the day after, you're going to get indicted for something else.
Well, I mean, look, the public is obviously not happy with this kind of a politicization going on in the Department of Justice and our law enforcement agencies. But I want to get your attention. I want to switch gears and ask you about the House Select Committee on China, now investigating BlackRock and index provider MSCI. The committee looking into whether they were facilitating American investments into Chinese companies who were actually accused of bolstering China's China's military and violating human rights, there is not a program that has been more focused on this issue than this one, because I've been focused on this issue now for years. The committee sent this letter to BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. It is unconscionable for any U.S. company to profit from investments that fuel the military advancements of America's foremost foreign adversary and facilitate human rights abuses. I'd like to know whether or not this was a decision that Joe Biden got paid for, allowing all of these companies, Chinese companies, to trade on U.S. exchanges and not follow any auditing rules. Because Joe Biden signed a memorandum of understanding back in 2014 with Chinese partners, allowing these companies to trade on U.S. exchanges. Why are these companies in indexes if, in fact, they're on sanctions lists?
They shouldn't be, and that's why we need to bring MSCI and BlackRock in. And I'm glad that our chair, Mike Gallagher, is pursuing this. Look, we had a hedge fund manager come before us a couple of weeks ago, and he very ethical guy, and he wouldn't be investing. He's not investing in any Chinese companies. And I asked him, "Are you the exception? Or are you the rule?" And he said he would hope that he was the rule. But my inclination is he's probably the exception. BlackRock and MSCI, all they're looking is chasing the dollar, and to our detriment. These companies are helping the PLA. They're helping the CCP. They're involved in human rights abuses, in China. And so, yeah, we need to bring them in and have them explain themselves. Look, we just looked at a sliver of these indexes, and in just that sliver, we found $500 million in investment, American money, helping Chinese companies and Chinese companies that are helping the PLA and the CCP undermine American interests. It's incredible, and it's something that we shouldn't tolerate, and we can't tolerate. We cannot continue to fund Chinese companies going to undermine American interests.
Yeah, are you going to ask Larry Fink if he's actually managing money for Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party?
Well, bring him in, and then we'll see what we ask him. I'm sure. Look, I'm the last guy on that committee. I'm the least senior person, so I'm sure my colleagues are going to put him, through the ringer.
Okay.
But look, we need to put the spotlight on what's happening. Any investment in China is investing with the Chinese Communist Party and the PLA, because by rule, by law, they have to share their technology. Anything that the PLA seems to be, in their interest, they can get it from that company. So everything that we invest in China is going to be working against the interests of the United States.
Congressman, thanks so much. We'll be watching all of these developments. Carlos Gimenez joining us this morning. Thanks, sir.